Hello, beautiful people and beautiful souls. My name is Dragana Spika, and thank you for watching my video. Today, I will talk to you about, I will actually discuss this question that I often get from my clients, and that is, clients often ask me when they come with relationship issues, they ask me, why do I always attract bad guys? Why do I always attract only people who are mistreating me? Why do I always end up with people who are not nice to me, who are hurting me? I'm only attracting people who are not nice, and that is just how I am, and there's nothing I can do about it. I always end up with bad guys. Essentially, the first thing, and let's go straight to the point, okay, that's how I like to work. If we go straight to the point, if you put aside those relationships that are abusive and there is an extreme abuse case, and let's talk about a relationship where both parties are free to leave whenever they want. In that situation, if a person says, I'm not happy that other person is hurting me and I keep attracting the same type of guys and I keep staying with these guys who are bad guys, not nice, rough, making me sad, mistreating me, and so on. One thing to actually become aware of is if you feel this way, you have chosen to be with this person. So when this person invited you on a date, again, I'm talking about relationships where both parties are free to choose whether they are going to be with this person and stay with this person. And if in that situation you tell me that you constantly feel sad and you constantly attract the same type of guys who are mistreating you, making you feel bad, first thing to be conscious of is that you have chosen to be with this person. You have said yes when they invited you on a date, or you invited them on a date. You have said yes to the second date. You have said yes to staying with them. You have said yes to living with them, maybe marrying them, having kids with them, staying with them in that relationship that doesn't feel good to you. And this might be something that some of you might not like to hear, but this is the truth. You have chosen this person. And a lot of people like to stay in this victim mode. Oh, it's happening to me. These guys I'm just attracting them. But the truth is, you have chosen to go on a date with this person, to stay with this person, to be with this person. Although you do not feel good in this relationship. Now, the question you need to answer for yourself is why? It is not that you are only attracting bad guys and you're only attracting guys who are mistreating you. Amongst all those guys around you who you could have potentially dated and stayed with, you have chosen this person who's actually hurting you. And I would really like to stress this point because it's very, very important. It is a key turning point. It is not that you are attracting only those guys who are bad guys. You have chosen amongst all those guys, there must have been that nice guy who invited you on a date, but he was not interesting, he was boring, and you have chosen a bad guy. So, amongst all those guys around you, who you could have, or girls around you who you could have potentially dated, you have chosen a bad guy or bad girl or guy who's making you feel sad, bad about yourself, and so on. So it's not that you are attracting them, you are choosing them. The key question that you need to ask for yourself if you want to change this in your life is why? And I can tell you why this is the case, but you need to work it out for yourself when you apply what I'm going to say to you now to your own life experience. Basically, our brain likes what is familiar and dislikes what is unfamiliar. Our brain is going after choosing for us and putting us in situations that feel familiar. Our brain chooses familiar because familiar is safe. If you are in a relationship where you feel sad, mistreated, neglected, the person is putting you down, and you keep choosing this type of person for yourself, that means that this feeling is familiar to you, most probably from your childhood. And being that this feeling is familiar for you, your brain is constantly drawing you to that person and is sending you to that person that actually is provoking the same kind of feeling within you, that familiar feeling. And it is really funny, even though something is familiar and not good for you, still familiar equals safe for your mind. Because your mind's number one job, your brain's number one job is to keep you alive on this planet, and the best way to do that is to stick to the familiar, because your brain knows what to do in a familiar setting, in a familiar situation. So as I said, if you constantly find yourself in a relationship where you feel mistreated, neglected, sad, abused, most probably this is a familiar feeling that you keep going after because you have adopted this feeling as a norm, as a normal feeling, most probably throughout your childhood. Now, this is a starting point for you, and it's an important turning point. Just realizing this and being conscious of this fact. But because as soon as you get out of that victim mode, oh, I keep attracting them, I only end up with them, as if it's some kind of destiny of yours, or you're doomed to stay with this kind of people. It is very important to actually become conscious of the fact that you can get out of this victim mode by understanding and realizing and becoming conscious of the fact that no, you have chosen them because you were following a repeating pattern and you were going after familiar feelings. And what is good about that, that is actually good news. It is actually good news because if you have chosen them, then you can stop choosing them and start choosing those people who actually make you feel good. You can start choosing relationships that fulfill you, that make you feel good about yourself. And I will give you an example of a client I had. A client of mine came to me saying that in the past she had only dysfunctional relationships and relationships where she wasn't feeling supported or fulfilled or loved in a way that she wants to be loved, and yet she kept ending up in those type of relationships. And she did work on her feelings and on herself, and after a while she met a guy who was actually everything she ever wanted. Those are her words, everything she ever wanted. And yet she was, after a few months, she felt that she was not longer attracted to him, that's not it. So what we ended up discovering was that that guy was everything she ever wanted, but it was not fitting into the model that she was used to. So remember, we are attracted to this model of a familiar feeling, familiar model, familiar behavior. And she was not attracted to him that much because, again, this person was everything she wanted. It felt good, but yet she felt like she can't be in that relationship, and she felt like she's not that into him. And we've discovered that this is because the models that she has adopted as attractive and normal and sexy in her childhood were completely different. And we were able to change this, and there's a happy ending to this story. The point is, you can turn this around, you can change it in your favor, and you can end up with a person who loves you and supports you. And the first step towards doing that is to understand that you are choosing these people, and if you're choosing people that you don't like, you can start choosing people that you actually do like. And the first thing you can do after being conscious of this fact, the first thing you can do is go and read a lot of books on this topic, go and listen to YouTube videos, and gain as much knowledge as you can, or you can also get a professional help, because your life can be different and you can get the love that you deserve. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful and blessed day.